Hello and welcome to today's video. Today's question comes from a teacher that was talking about how bored her kids are and they hate to write. I hear this all the time and I just have multiple answers for it. So today's video is all about how to make writing fun. I'm going to be talking mostly about kindergarten, first and second grade activities, strategies, things to do, things to think about. So if that sounds good, go ahead, hit the subscribe button and I'll see you back here in just a few seconds. Okay, so before we jump into these fun activities, you have to change your attitude about teaching writing. You have to walk in front of those students with all the energy that you can muster up, and you have to act. You have to say, oh my goodness, I am so excited. Today we get to write. Everyone say, yeah. And you just go crazy, right? When you're excited, even if they don't want to do what they're about to do, they're going to be a little more excited about it because you are up there acting so excited, because you are up there giving the performance of a lifetime. And so they're automatically going to be a little more hyped to get into this lesson with you. So that is my first tip right there. You have to make sure you get excited about what it is that you're about to be doing. Tip number 2, children don't feel frustrated by things that they know how to do well. So if they don't know how to write very well, of course they're not going to want to write about it. So a couple things we're going to do in primary. We are going to qualify a lot of things as writing. We are going to make sure that students understand that illustrating is writing and that writing sentences is writing, labeling is writing. All of those things are going to be writing so that all children have a chance to feel successful when it's time to write. So that is tip number 2. Tip number 3, we're going to talk about real world writing. Why do we write in the real world? Where does writing show up? And then how can we do some of that in this classroom? So instead of saying, okay, it's time for personal narrative, think of a small moment in your life. Let's stretch it out. Your birthday party. I had a birthday party. I had a pink cake. I got a Barbie. It was so fun. The end. How exciting can that be? I'm not really excited about it. I think we can do a little bit better. So I love to think about what product am I going to have my kids produce by the end of this unit. And if it is something like a personal narrative, because a lot of us have to create personal narratives, then I'm thinking about what do people do with personal narratives in real life? When do we write about an account that happened to us that gave us a strong emotional feeling? Oh, that might be a blog, that might be a short journal in a newspaper magazine. And so I start thinking big picture and I start thinking, okay, in real life, if personal narratives show up in that form, what can I do in my classroom? So I'm going to come to them and I'm going to say, we're going to start a blog. And they're going to and they don't even know what a blog is, but they're excited about it. And I'm going to explain to them what it looks like in the real world and what we need to make sure we include so that the readers really enjoy our stories. And I'm going to approach it from a real world lens because that's automatically going to increase engagement and it's going to make it feel more fun. My 4th tip, you guys have to make writing hands-on. Writing should feel like a workshop, especially in the primary grades. So if your students know the writing process and they know what they're making, they have a product that they are all working towards, now it's going to be your job to make it hands-on on each level. So if we're on the planning phase or the drafting phase, whatever it is, what are you going to put available at the table to help them on that journey? So I can remember doing personal narratives. We're just going to stick with narratives for this video. In a personal narrative unit at the ideas table, I might have a collection of books. I might even have an iPad with a couple videos pulled up of people just kind of talking about short, meaningful stories from their lives. Think Humans of New York, but like a kid version of that. They're all over the place. You can find really great examples of people simply talking about their lives, and that helps them with the idea process. But I'm thinking, what am I going to do to make this more hands-on, more interactive, so that it's not just kids sitting with a little pencil and a graphic organizer and just filling something in, and that's so boring. No, we want to make this thing feel a little more fun. So I'm thinking through each step of the writing process, and I'm trying to figure out what I can make available for them to really get into this thing. That is an important step to make writing feel more fun. The last tip I have for you, tip number 5, you have to celebrate and make this a big deal when children A, produce a piece of writing, and when children B, get the unit done, okay? I love making children write on a deadline because outside of a personal journal or a diary, maybe personal writing that's for you, Just about any other kind of writing that we have to do in real life, typically there's a deadline. If you're writing an essay to get into college, there's a deadline. If somebody asks you to write something for a local newspaper, you have a deadline. If you are an actual author, right, and you write books and your publisher is waiting on you, you have a deadline. And so I love to even use that language with children. I say, oh my gosh, guys, we have this blog we have to get out, and we have a deadline, guys. We have 2 weeks until our writing deadline. How are we doing? And it creates this really fun sense of urgency, and the students are immediately like, oh my gosh, well, I better get to work because we have to work on a deadline. And it's just the cutest thing ever. And so when they hit that deadline and they get to the end of the unit, you have to celebrate. You can't just wrap it up and say, okay, well, good job, everybody. I'm going to put a sticker on your paper. Maybe I'll stick it on that bulletin board right there. Come on, like, what else can we do? Can we invite people over to come and listen to our articles? Can we send a link out to all of the families and have them leave comments on a private social media page? What can we do to make this thing feel more fun? But really, when I think about all the strategies that I just gave you, for me, the most important one is you. However you approach the writing block, that's how they're going to write. If you come dragging to the writing block, trying to figure out, okay, it says we have to add details. Well, who can add details to their writing? Oh yeah, okay, you added 1 extra word. And it's like, that's okay. But if the goal here is to like make this feel fun and engaging and exciting, writing is absolutely fun and engaging and exciting. You just have to show them how. So hopefully at least one of those tips, hopefully all of them, but at least one of them will help shift your perspective on how to make your writing block a little more fun and engaging for your students. If you enjoyed this video, go check out my channel, subscribe. I put out videos every Tuesday and Thursday. It's always about writing, and I would love to see you in the next one.